Hey Pisces. I don't know why, but right as I started inside your Pisces, I got the chills. So, yeah, there's that. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. My podcast is also below. I started that, and we're doing these readings different. I'm going to I've used it before if you've been watching, the compass reading, where I have different sections for the cards that I've fused together, and something came to me. I wanted to do something different, more of my own, I guess you could say. I'm sure someone else has used it at some point, but so basically it's like the first part and the second part together. I just don't know how I'm going to structure the second part. I might not show you the cards, but I am reading more in depth. The last reading went fantastic. I'm very happy about it. And then on Patreon, what you can purchase is more of an extended reading where I go more into it. It goes farther out. We get more into each body part, or each section. Yeah, so we're in your opposite season. And we have the Five of Pentacles coming out for the body right away. So your body's talking to you. Some of you might feel a little heavy this month or coming into this month. And it's kind of trying to get your attention on about how you can make peace with it, with whatever is going on. So your body doesn't feel the way it had felt maybe even a couple weeks ago. All of a sudden something hits, maybe it's emotional, and I do think that most of us do store emotion. We do store emotions in our body. It is said that, in our trauma. So it's really important to not ignore whatever is possibly going on with you. It could have to do with temperance associated with Sagittarius, which could be hips and thighs, or the Death card is Scorpio, which is your sex organ. So something could be going on there. It could be asking you to hold back on sex with a certain person, possibly a Sagittarius or a Scorpio. But I think more likely it's a Sagittarius, and the Scorpio part is about how you're going through something and you can't necessarily really see what's going on yet. You have to have blind faith in your body's ability to heal and to trust who you go to about these situations. If you don't necessarily trust what someone is telling you, I'm not anybody in the health field, but I'm just saying, if you don't feel like you can trust the person that you go to for these sorts of things, it's important for you at this time to get a second opinion, to know that it's okay. Maybe do something that helps your emotional health, whether it's taking care of your body, talking to someone. Could be a Sagittarius, or it could be just starting some kind of practice. Spiritual could mean many different things. It's not just doing meditation or whatever. It's maybe it is for you talking it out, or creating, or doing, or just letting it out of you. There's something that needs to come out of you, and it's going to help you through this time of healing with your body. It's something that you were maybe blind to for a while. Not necessarily something you had control over either. And now that you do, and that you're aware of whatever's, whether it's something that's long coming and it was chronic. For some of you, I do think this is very chronic. And whatever was working isn't working now. So again, that second opinion, doing something different, is very important. However, I think the mind section next, which will give you a little bit more insight of what's going on there, because the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords are both covering the eyes. So it's something maybe that you're not listening to within yourself, I think, what it's coming to. So if you do have a slowdown at work, or a slower pace happening right now, and you can afford it, or if you have faith in knowing that you can afford it, whatever place you're at, maybe your faith is being tested in that. Take time. I think this last month for most of you was pretty social, yet you still felt something come up. This time you feel, it's not about being social, but you feel inclined to talk about what you're noticing. It doesn't mean that's everybody's view though. It's what you're going through. And you could find people that you relate to, perhaps. However, I do think this is something that's important for you that maybe is going to give you energy. Something that has been necessary to come out of you for a long time, or it's giving you energy, taking your moment to focus and refocus, or seeing things and saying things in a way that there's a part of you that actually connects to what's happening, and there's an energy happening where then it can develop momentum. So there's this momentum in the mind that is good momentum that your body needs, and you're being reinforced if you feel ever like dragged down. There's a constant reinforcement, which is great. That's what I'm seeing here. And boom, the reinforcement is going to get you through this time. It's going to show you that, like Virgo season does, the extremes, and show you where you can give more energy to filling and seeing what you want, making the steps towards what you want. Maybe instead of saying them and not doing them and not finding that in between, well, it's because something, it doesn't necessarily have to be your emotions, but something isn't adding up, and you're able to understand why. You then, from your body to your mind then goes through this, you gaining energy, and then you choose where to put it. You can put it into more enjoyment, and you go through this from time to time if people don't know this about you. While Mercury is in Virgo, there's going to be a focus on this. That's the heart. It goes retrograde in Virgo as well. So when it's in retrograde, I feel like that's the time where you're going to see the difference between these versions of yourself, because you're one of the dual signs. You have two fish. Gemini has two heads and Libra has two scales. We're all dual though. We all have it. Your duality is also said to be Virgo, right? So, or your opposition, which is also real. No, I didn't mean to do that. But in the grand scheme of things, you're just seeing this interplay of when you actually, even though your body might not be in the best space, it's creating space for you. I know it sounds like one of those cliche things, but it's true. When you're healing, you're creating space for something else. And we're constantly healing, so we're constantly creating space for something else. You know, it's like when you break up with someone, you break up with a part of yourself, which is kind of what you're doing here to an extent. You're realizing where you need to break up. You can still love this from afar, so it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and it could still be a part of you, but it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And like that breakup is you're moving farther away from that person, unless there's something holding you two together, like a child, or you have to be in contact with this person for some reason. You can still choose to love them from afar. It's not like they're always in your face. So it's just like this mindset, you're being shown very closely where it is you can choose to put this energy that you now have more of. Even though it doesn't feel like your body's doing much, it is. It's regenerating. There's something regenerating. There's something that you are seeing and now coming out of deception maybe about. And now you're able to utilize whatever is really in your heart in a way where you can now see it's possibly that someone has done you wrong too, or you didn't know they were doing you wrong. Again, there's a strong theme of how we haven't seen, how we act on the inside, and how sometimes we keep certain people far away, or even on Instagram when you only see certain, or social media where people only show you certain sides. I don't like forced showing you sides of yourself, please don't force yourself to show other people. I mean, you still can, but showing different versions of yourself, the different parts of you that make up who you are. There's now this coming together of you creating so much stability in the place of love, and you're someone who likes to be on the move, but and you know it's important to chill out sometimes, and even though you're still going to be on the move, it's still really important for you to recognize why you keep just moving around instead of actually doing what needs to be done, perhaps. And it's within your heart. It's like you want to take these skills and these things about you and run with them, but there's something, it's just that 3 of Swords has held you back for so long. So we have the 4, the 7, so that equals, yeah. Okay, so when Libra goes into, yeah, that'll be the time. Libra goes into, Mercury goes into Libra. Sorry, I always do that. And it will be there in its retrograde. It gives you the chance to see things clearly. And has you realized what you really need to run with and what you are still healing from, and knowing that's still okay to live your life. It's still okay to, and things will be smoothed out very easily in that time, which will be wonderful. Also, sorry about my voice, it's still gaining strength. I went through something, and I was also sick recently where I can't talk. Well, I can talk. My voice is different, I think, to myself. And it's also strengthening again. So doing these, like even last month, it was a little, but I feel a lot more energy this month. So I love it. I'm ready to work and do the work, right? So this will kind of even things out for you. This Mercury in Libra will be good for your heart, especially. And it will also show you, there's a lot of cards in the spirit, so attention needs to be focused there. You're realizing what has been given to you and its potential. I said this to Virgo too, which is funny. You have so much potential this month. You always have potential, but you have so much this month to set forth on. It doesn't mean you have to do anything physically yet. Move things physically. It's physical seems to be last for you. It's like more of like head, heart, spirit are more in sync. They're coming into attunement, and your body doesn't seem quite ready yet, but trust yourself, it is. There's this ability to commit to things being different, that you have a great sense of self-worth regardless of how you're acting, regardless if that's good or bad, regardless if you realize it. And now this potential that you're committing to, this path that you're committing to, this faith, blind faith that you're having, isn't so blind anymore. It's you having faith in yourself, that you're willing to take a look up from what you've been doing and to look around you and realize what's really important to you. What is maybe your ego. Like you start to see things clearly, like this is your ego, that's okay. By the way, this is the part of you that's an ego. This is part of you that needs self-worth, strengthening, trusting in yourself, believing in yourself. Cool, that's where you're great there. That's where, and then this is where you can't, this is hard for you to look. And now we're going to look there because you're in this place where you, even though things are changing, you still feel this innate, magic, fortune, positive thing happening. And it's so you that it's almost like you're almost like, what? But it's so you. So you're not mad at it. There's a true empowerment. Woo! That you might just want to share with the world. You might just want to share with anyone who tries to fuck with how you feel this month. But you almost don't care. You're going to say what you have to say. You're going to do what you have to do. And all things are pointing towards, if you're not someone who is already like in the position of people listening to you about something that you know, you may start to make money off of that even more. Something that you've worked hard for. But you now innately get that you are abundant. That you can, this is also another source of filling things up. Maybe it makes it so strong that you start just saying things and you make people listen to you. Wherever you are, you're being heard. And it's not coming from a place of, I'm out of control. You may find more control this month than you've found in a long ass time. Even though you're not that you're someone who can often micromanage, but this month that part of you can come out if you're someone who has perfectionist tendencies or certain qualities of you. If you let yourself and not be trapped by your body, but really see everything for what it is, see like the whole of your life, how you're feeling, where your mind is, where your heart's at, what you're allowing, what's happening with that, why are you feeling this way, and yet there's still this faith and there's still so much good happening, and you're not afraid to ask for help from Spirit, from God, and you realize all the places that you have so much potential, like all the things that are, the connection is the golden orb, golden coin, golden surroundings. That's what it's trying to show you, the light. And you see it, and you don't take it for granted, and it might make you a lot of fucking money as well. If you're not already making it, you're feeling it, and you're like, okay, cool. You now realize you're in a position that you can influence and say things regardless of how people feel you're saying it, because you know where it's coming from. And that's important for you to know. And I think that's a great place to end. The extension will be on Patreon, so give me a minute to fix all of the labels. It might be out a little bit, a couple days after. Hopefully I'll get it up in the same time. But this is like the first and the second part without showing you the cards exactly. But it feels very in-depth. If I feel like I need to add another part, I will. But I'm going to just play with this for this month and let things build. Prime spot this month. If you really center in on yourself, you know exactly what the fuck is happening. And you're being shown it, you're speaking it, and there's just some things falling into place for you. So the best way not to fuck it up is to get too caught up in the way your body looks or feels right now, because it's happening. Virgo season is getting it done. Partners in crime, baby. All right, Pisces, I'll see you next month.